How is it today, friends? How's everybody doing today? Happy Thursday. Hope everybody's having a great time. You know, heading all the way to the gym now, and then after that, back to the grind, back to the hustle. This is your friend Michael from the Coalition with a Purpose Party. Building together, you know how it is. And I had a quick thought. It's going to be a quick thought. I was watching the news about Americans falling behind their payments and things like that. America doesn't have inflation problem. America has a wage problem. Wages do not catch up with inflation. That's the issue. You know, wages are not catching up with the products, with the economy. Wages are not catching up with the economy, and that is the issue that we're having. So, how can we get it fixed? Well, you know, there's a price that has to be paid by the government, and that's to stimulate the economy. You know, the way that happened in COVID, remember, they did the stimulation, and then wages got up, and things started getting back on track quickly. And then, you know, they did one last package and it stopped, and then the wages stopped moving up, but still, things were pretty high still. You know, people were making decent amount. You know, they just had to work two jobs to keep up with the inflation problem we had. But they were able. But now, you know, the economy is desperately needing stimulation. And I said many. Perhaps some of them don't, and I completely sympathize with the one that we're not able to. But now we have an issue where the economy is on stress. It's under stress, and the wages are not catching up at all with the prices. Right? If people have a decent wage, people will be able to afford things, right? This has been proven. America does not have an inflation problem. We do have a wage problem. Wages do not catch up with the prices. So how can we get this done, in my opinion? You know, ways to stimulate the economy. We need to give people, you know, their money. Their money. We need to give them stimulus, the same way happened in COVID, and we need to stimulate the businesses. Why we have to do that? Because when we stimulate the businesses and when we stimulate the people will have the money to spend, and the business will have the money to raise wages and to also deal with the demand. You know, so that is my take on it. You know, I believe President Trump needs to pass the CARES Act 2.0. I believe that needs to be done. You know, Mr. President, do it. Act quickly, do it. It needs to be done.